Blake Lively is getting desperate in new legal filings along with her hair care line.
Ryan Reynolds is fuming after Blake Lively got herself tangled in yet another scandal.
Blake Lively was spotted this weekend in her happy place, which apparently is also when she grabs her co-stars without permission.
She's out here publicly exposing her own hypocrisy without even trying.
And what you really went for it, too.
That's always awkward. You're like, hey, hi, nice to meet you. Can I grab your nut?
Meanwhile, Ryan is busy bragging that he's too big to fail. Are these two stupid or just completely delusional?
Ryan Reynolds realizes he's too big to fail. He just crushes his enemies and drinks their blood. Oh, we got to talk about this.
Speaking of disasters, let's talk about the donut shop stunt that flopped harder than a Disney live-action remake. In March 2025, Blake decided it would be such a good idea to stroll into Rise Donuts in Connecticut and support her friend's business.
She actually surprised people just at a random bakery. When she went behind the counter at a Connecticut donut shop, she was really in a happy mood. The actress made a stop at the pastry stop on March 30th amidst her ongoing battle. Now, it's just really weird about this.
You know, casual rich girl stuff. Except, small problem. She served pastries to real human customers with her long blonde hair flapping around like she was auditioning for a Pantene commercial. Hairnet? Never heard of her. Tying it back? Too relatable, I guess. Federal food safety laws? Apparently they don't apply when you're Blake Lively.
Anyway, the point is she's now advertising and has all these people showing off her Blake Brown hair care products, where she talks about, oh, that's a anyway.
The internet had a full-blown meltdown. Within hours, photos of Blake's hair hovering over trays of donuts went viral. TikTok, X, Reddit, you name it, they were roasting her harder than the actual pastries. And honestly, deserved. People were calling it disgusting and asking how the cafe even allowed this basic food safety violation to happen.
This is some of the worst products that I have ever used on my hair.
Even Gordon Ramsay would have walked in and shut the whole place down on sight. And let's just take a second to appreciate the irony here. Blake's entire brand, her whole Blake Brown beauty empire, is built around her hair. The same hair she couldn't be bothered to tie up before leaning over people's food. You can't make this stuff up. But wait, it gets even better. This wasn't just a random visit. No, people immediately clocked it for what it was. A desperate PR stunt to distract from her December 2024 lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. You know, the one where she's suing him for defamation and sexual harassment while the world watches her case fall apart like a stale cruller.
Baking with genius good friends and their kitchen mixer the size of a car. This is what my happy place looks like. She plays like the Yoshi Super Mario World.
The stunt was supposed to scream, "I'm just a normal girl helping a friend." But all it did was remind everyone that Blake Lively has the self-awareness of a reality TV villain on week 4 of filming. Instead of coming off relatable, she just looked like an out-of-touch millionaire cosplaying as a small-town hero while spreading hair and donuts.
My hair has never felt so unhealthy in my entire life. Like, what did she put in this thing?
And just when you think she couldn't embarrass herself anymore, enter the Blake Brown beauty meltdown. The cherry glazed disaster on top. Early 2025, Blake's hair care brand launches a desperate buy one, get one 50% off sale. Please somebody, anybody, take this junk off my hands.
Let's start with the most pathetic part of it. This hair care line, Blake Brown Beauty. Buy one, get a second for only 50% off, guys.
This woman spent 7 years supposedly perfecting these products. 7 years. And after all that time and effort, she's out here slapping discount stickers on shampoo bottles like a used car salesman on a bad day.
7 years I've spent on this hair care line that apparently was destroyed by Justin. Nice try, Blake.
But here's the kicker. While she's crying in court documents about how Justin Baldoni destroyed her brand, she's simultaneously flooding social media with influencer videos gushing over her products. Which one is it, Blake? Are you a ruined victim or a thriving business mogul? Because you can't sue someone for ruining your life and then post ASMR shampoo night videos like nothing happened.
You're having good deals. Look at these videos you're posting out to show how amazing the hair is with this ASMR video of it's a lot of shampoo. Do you ladies use that much shampoo and conditioner here? With sizing bottles the size that small, you run through this stuff quick.
And those videos are pure comedy. Watching Blake Lively dump half a bottle of overpriced conditioner on her head in slow motion while pretending everything's fine is the most unintentionally hilarious thing she's done since Green Lantern. Critics aren't buying it either. Everyone's calling her out for playing both sides harder than a shady car dealer. On one hand, she's parading around as the poor victim of evil Hollywood men, sobbing about her shattered dreams. On the other hand, she's cashing in on her celebrity status, selling hair goo to teenage girls who still think Serena van der Woodsen is a real person. It's the ultimate have your cake and eat it too move, except the cake is burnt, stale, and covered in loose hair from her donut shop fiasco.
Sign of desperation in her hair care line, but also a sign that, yeah, business is there. She's selling, and judging by these images, a lot of people are using it and showing how great it is. So which is it, Blake? She always wants to have it both ways. I can't figure it out.
The hypocrisy is almost breathtaking. Here's a woman who wants us to believe she's this wounded, innocent figure fighting against the big bad bullies of Hollywood. Meanwhile, she's out here violating health codes, harassing co-stars, oh hi Henry Golding, weaponizing false victimhood, and selling beauty products like it's Black Friday every day. If Blake Lively's career was a shampoo bottle, it would be leaking from all sides, smell weird, and have a huge clearance sticker slapped right on it. Blake keeps trying to spin these disasters into success stories, but at this point, she's just spinning herself deeper into the ground. Every PR move she makes screams desperation louder than the last. She's like a magician who's already shown you how the trick works, but keeps insisting you be amazed anyway. No one's buying the act anymore. And the more she tries to act unbothered, the more bothered she clearly looks.
And to see that she's willing to do that, she'll grab them.
It's honestly kind of amazing watching a woman who once commanded red carpets and magazine covers reduced to shilling hair products at half price while getting dragged for not knowing how basic food hygiene works. Blake wanted to show the world she's thriving. Instead, she showed us that even $1 million shampoo can't wash away the stench of bad PR. If there's one thing we've learned from Blake's Crash and Burn tour of 2025, it's this. You can spend 7 years building a hair care brand, 10 years building a Hollywood reputation, and about 7 minutes destroying both by letting your ego take the wheel. And right now, Blake Lively is driving straight off a cliff, full speed, no brakes, and a trunk full of unsold conditioner.
I want to talk about the marketing images specifically for Blake Lively's hair brand. A bunch of people have been reviewing the products, and unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you feel about it, they do not like them. A lot of them are saying that the fragrances are really interesting, which
Blake Lively being the poster child for Hollywood hypocrisy isn't exactly breaking news at this point. But let's rewind to one of her greatest hits, the Henry Golding scandal. You know, the one nobody in Hollywood wants to talk about because shocker, it's Blake Lively. Back in 2018, during the A Simple Favor commentary, Blake thought it would be super cute and quirky to grab her co-star Henry Golding's private parts.
Really hard.
But really hard.
It's not because I want to, because I feel like she would.
Remember, we kept going like, can you?
Not because I want to, because she would. I'm just gonna grab your nuts really hard, okay?
Because let's be honest, if the roles were reversed and a male actor was joking about grabbing a woman like that, his career would be over faster than you can say canceled. On camera, in front of everyone. And because she's Blake Lively, she just laughed it off like it was the funniest thing ever. Can you even imagine if the roles were reversed? If Henry had pulled that stunt on her, he'd be banished to a cave in Siberia by now.
Between the nut grab and the literal product placement of her husband's cheat on this thing, it's all so ridiculous.
But Blake? Oh, she got a free pass. Because apparently, if you're blonde, rich, and married to Ryan Reynolds, you're allowed to sexually harass your coworkers for giggles. No apology, no outrage, not even a half-hearted notes app statement. Just Hollywood giving her a standing ovation for being so relatable while the rest of us watched in disbelief. And now, years later, this same Blake is out here accusing Justin Baldoni of harassment.
We kept going, can you do it harder?
Yeah, and that was my tip of the hat to baby Jane Hudson.
Yes.
Oh, she's spinning on the beach at the end.
Oh, it's so great. Then you ADR'd a little extra, like, the little laughs and stuff. It's fantastic.
The same woman who treated consent like a punchline is suddenly the poster girl for workplace safety? Please. Blake's history of improvising physical contact exposes her current harassment claims for what they really are: a convenient weapon, not a real grievance. Critics aren't stupid. They're connecting the dots faster than Blake can spin her next PR disaster. The Henry Golding incident isn't some isolated blip. It's a flashing neon sign that Blake Lively will cry harassment when it benefits her and laugh it off when she's the one doing the harassing.
Blake Lively was spotted this weekend in her happy place, which apparently is also when she grabs her co-stars without permission.
And now dragging Justin Baldoni through the mud looks less like bravery and more like desperate career CPR. Blake weaponizes harassment claims like a kid swinging a piñata, hoping something sweet falls out, and it's honestly nauseating to watch. Speaking of desperate, let's talk about the Jed Wallace situation, or as I like to call it, Blake's magical invisible enemy. In her lawsuit, Blake tries to pin the blame for her online reputation tanking on Jed Wallace, some poor street marketing employee who probably didn't even know Blake Lively existed before this mess. Blake accuses him of orchestrating untraceable social media attacks against her. Untraceable. The legal equivalent of my dog ate the evidence. But here's the kicker. In March 2025, Jed Wallace filed a sworn affidavit making it crystal clear that he never posted, never coordinated, and basically never did a damn thing to harm Blake.
He had nothing to do with it, nothing with the production. Limited work to Justin concluded in November. It was my role on social media was merely passive.
His entire job was just to analyze public sentiment, aka watch Blake's own PR moves implode naturally without lifting a finger. He literally sat there like a human version of the popcorn meme while Blake's scandals snowballed on their own. Yet, in typical Blake fashion, her legal filings just keep chanting the same buzzwords. Conspiracy, conspiracy, conspiracy. Like it's going to magically become true if she says it enough times. Meanwhile, there's zero actual proof. None. Zilch.
Even all the things that Blake's now going to go through and show, there's been zero proof that Jed actually did these things. Now, sure.
Critics are dragging her for trying to manufacture a villain to distract from the real problem herself. Instead of facing the fact that people are sick of her fake brand and even faker lawsuits, Blake's out here throwing darts at a wall hoping something sticks. Nothing's sticking, except maybe the scent of desperation. Now, just when you thought this train wreck couldn't get any better, enter Ryan Reynolds, stage left, with a gasoline can and a big dumb smile. Because why wouldn't he jump into the bonfire too? Turns out, back in July 2024, Ryan decided it would be a fantastic idea to run around telling WME executives not once but twice that Justin Baldoni was an actual predator. Real husband of the year behavior right there.
So this is a dangerous game to play.
Yeah, there are literal like SH things he's admitted to in now junkets, and he can claim jokes or whatever, but to pull random quotes of Justin talking about his teenage years and his growth and maturity and to try to use against him to label him a predator, which none of the quotes did, I actually applaud them.
And if that wasn't enough, Ryan gave the world a glimpse into his massively inflated ego by proudly declaring, "I'm too big to fail. I crush my enemies and drink their blood." Yeah, super normal thing to say when you're being sued for defamation. Totally doesn't scream unhinged billionaire who thinks he's invincible at all.
Ryan Reynolds realizes he's too big to fail. He just crushes his enemies and drinks their blood.
And because Ryan can't help but be the living embodiment of cringe, he filed a motion to dismiss that was so embarrassing, even legal experts were side-eyeing it. It was stuffed with Mean Girls references. Yes, a literal burn book mention. Because apparently when your wife is accused of harassment, the best response is to turn it into a high school skit.
So strange how he needed to do that, but he did. And now Justin's team has responded back with their motion to dismiss, the whole motion to dismiss.
Luckily, Justin Baldoni's team wasn't having it. They clapped back hard, pointing out that Ryan acted with actual malice, had superior knowledge of everything going on, and was intimately involved in Blake's whole smear campaign. Ryan wasn't just some clueless husband holding Blake's purse while she battled in court. He was right there in the trenches, tossing grenades and hoping nobody noticed the dirt on his hands.
Amended complaint if there have been any filed. By referencing statements that were not in Baldoni's first amended complaint, Reynolds went beyond the four corners of the FAC, which is not permitted. Shout out to Leanne Newton's always out there.
And guess what? Legal analysts are predicting Ryan won't be dismissed from the case. The evidence against him is stacking up like a Jenga tower made of flaming lawsuits and bad jokes. Turns out calling someone a predator twice behind closed doors isn't just tacky. It's legally dangerous when you're supposed to know better. Especially when you're bragging 8 months ago about crushing enemies, like you're starring in some low-budget villain origin story.
To Ryan's several quotes he pulled out of wherever to try to justify that, no, Justin is a predator. Those quotes aren't supposed to be in here. To quote Leanne Newton, who did it very well, you can't bring in all these old, messages.
Blake and Ryan's little empire is crumbling faster than Ryan can say, burn book, and Blake can tie her hair back in a donut shop. They built their whole brand on being Hollywood's adorable, untouchable couple. Now it's clear they're just two narcissists throwing tantrums because the world finally stopped buying what they're selling. Watching them spiral is like watching a luxury yacht sink. Slow, dramatic, and impossible to look away from.
Everyone's been returning the Blake Brown hair care. She said that not worth $20.
Blake thought she could harass co-workers, stage pathetic PR stunts, and weaponize harassment accusations without anyone noticing the hypocrisy. Ryan thought he could act like a high school mean girl with a Marvel budget and get away with it. But the public and the courts aren't laughing anymore. The only thing funnier than their legal defenses is how they genuinely thought they were too big to fail. The bigger they are, the harder they faceplant.
Yeah, we can pull quotes too, Ryan. And Kim, you were saying it earlier, they could pull a lot of really bad quotes, couldn't they, if they really wanted to set a precedent about Reynolds, no?
When you thought the Blake and Ryan meltdown couldn't get any slimier, here comes the cherry on top. The extortion allegations. Yep, internal communications spilled the tea, and it's piping hot. Turns out Blake and Ryan weren't just being messy in public. They were pulling mafia-style moves behind the scenes too. Messages reveal that if Wayfarer didn't play along, the gloves will come off. You know, totally normal professional behavior. Threatening to torch someone's career unless they hand over creative control like it's a hostage negotiation.
The motion to dismiss failed to set forth any basis for his liability, that they were merely acted as a supportive spouse. No, he was not just a supportive spouse. The FAC specifically alleges ample facts to support the Wayfarer's claims against Ryan based on both his direct actions and his liability as a co-conspirator.
Back in July 2014, Blake and Ryan turned into full-time bullies, pressuring WME to drop Justin Baldoni. The threat? Lose deals with Blake and Ryan if they didn't comply. And because WME apparently folds faster than a cheap lawn chair, Justin found himself kicked to the curb based on nothing but rumors and the hissy fits of two overpaid, overhyped celebrities. Forget innocent until proven guilty. In Blake and Ryan's world, it's agree with us or else.
We will go. There was also the line earlier that later they said of any goodwill will be gone. It's hard to not see these quotes as direct threats of we will bury you. The same thing she's accusing.
The accusations don't stop there. Blake and Ryan are being called out for trying to coerce creative control of the It Ends With Us adaptation, leveraging their fake harassment narrative like it's some kind of loyalty badge. Imagine being so drunk on power you think you can just fabricate victimhood to get script approval. Legal experts are calling it out as classic Hollywood strong-arm tactics. And honestly, they're being polite. This is bullying, plain and simple. Blake and Ryan aren't protecting victims. They're protecting their egos and their bank accounts, and they'll throw anyone under the bus to do it.
This was much earlier on, and the press in question had nothing to do with Justin. It was literally the majority of bad press came from Kirsty's junket interview, which had nothing to do with Wayfarer or Justin.
But in 2025, Hollywood's old tricks aren't working the way they used to. Enter Hollywood's hypocrisy, exposed under the harsh, unforgiving light of internet culture. Once upon a time, Blake could have just cried a little on a red carpet and People magazine would have called her brave. Not anymore. The Henry Golding scandal from 2018 keeps popping up like a bad rash every time she tries to play the traumatized starlet card. Every desperate PR move, every crocodile tear is instantly dissected, memed, and dragged across TikTok and Reddit before she can even hit post.
Has happened to her. She has, been in love with Penn Badgley from, Gossip Girl, then she got with Ryan Reynolds.
And let's talk about how even feminist circles are side-eyeing her now. Blake's selective outrage is the ultimate betrayal. She's all about women's empowerment when it sells shampoo or lands her another Vogue cover. But when it's time to take responsibility for groping a co-worker on camera, silence louder than a Taylor Swift surprise album drop. You can't scream, "Believe all women" 1 second and laugh off your own bad behavior the next. People are finally calling out this garbage for what it is. Performative activism dressed up in designer clothes. And here's the real plot twist. Blake's biggest enemy isn't Justin Baldoni. It's not Jed Wallace. It's not even the evil trolls of Reddit. It's her own arrogance and inconsistency. She thought she could manipulate the media, gaslight the public, and bully her way through Hollywood like it's still 2012. But the game has changed. Nobody's buying the Poor Me act anymore. Especially not from someone who can't even tie her hair back in a donut shop without turning it into a health hazard.
All the things that she's out there saying, he said I smelled good and called me sexy. I'm sorry, you look really bad. This looks really bad. Why did you do all this?
Meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds, the supposed too-big-to-fail superhero, is fumbling harder than a bad Deadpool sequel. His legal blunders have blown the lid off Blake's crumbling empire faster than anyone expected.
For making the point to be like, nice try, Reynolds. You have your own quotes. Shut up.
Ryan wanted to play tough guy, crushing enemies and drinking blood. Instead, he's just serving fresh evidence of how ridiculously involved he was in Blake's smear campaign. Great job, Ryan. Really helping your wife's case there, buddy. Blake's career is now facing a permanent stain so big, even Photoshop couldn't airbrush it out. The hair care scandals, the harassment hypocrisy, the failed PR stunts, it's all catching up to her at once. And there's no PR wizard left who can clean up this mess.
And this last one took me out. It's like, are we marketing the hair or the person? Because these two things do not gel, right? And in her about statement, she's like, I've always been known for my hair. And as she says, it took her 7 years to perfect it.
Hailed as Hollywood's adorable power couple, Blake and Ryan are now nothing but an industry cautionary tale. They're a live-action warning sign about what happens when ego, greed, and bad timing collide in spectacular fashion. No amount of Vogue spreads or clickbait headlines can save them from the cold, hard reality that their brand is officially trash.
Blake Lively has nothing to do with what is happening. Her husband has come undone. Blake Lively developed some feelings for Justin Baldoni.
And let's be real. Ryan may think he's out here crushing his enemies, but the only thing truly crushed is Blake's reputation. She's managed to do what no critic, no gossip blog, and no ex-co-star could ever accomplish. Completely destroy her own image from the inside out. She didn't just trip. She sprinted straight into disaster like it was a photo op. Watching Blake Lively's career implode isn't just entertaining. It's a masterclass in how not to handle fame, power, or, basic human decency. Blake's downfall is a reminder that no amount of curated Instagram posts or staged charity drives can hide the truth forever. You can pretend to be the ultimate girl boss, the ultimate victim, the ultimate Hollywood sweetheart. But sooner or later, reality catches up. And when it does, no glam squad, no PR team, No celebrity husband with a god complex can save you. Ryan and Blake wanted to rule Hollywood like a king and queen. Instead, they've turned themselves into the court jesters, loud, desperate, and laughable. The Teflon couple everyone thought was untouchable? Turns out, Teflon burns when you apply enough heat. And Blake and Ryan? They're sizzling. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more chaos.